serve as your SAA. The main thing that we want to share with everyone is how happy we are that you're all here with us. But the other thing is to let you know that it's our routine and culture to tape everything front to back and allow us to grow by going back over the meeting and looking at how we performed. And this helps everyone, both people that are speaking as well as people that are not speaking, be able to gain the best from the experts that we have in this club. I just want to share that with you, and then that comes out to everyone in an email. We also have a WhatsApp site if you want to put additional comments in. At this point in time, our Toastmaster of the day is who?
That's me.
It's David. I turn it over to David for Toastmaster of the day to introduce you to our team that will be helping him with our meeting.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Byrne, our president. So I'm David Carr. I'll be your Toastmaster of the day today, which means I'm supposed to run a well-organized and tight little meeting. And I have some helpers who are going to do that, make me stay on track. But first, we have a tip of the day from Toastmaster Jim Barber, although actually Toastmaster Jim Barber was having technical difficulties with his tip of the day last I heard. Are you ready, Jim? Okay, we have a thumbs up.
I am indeed.
Please welcome Toastmaster Jim Barber with our tip of the day.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. And I am ready. Let's keep in mind that ready is a precarious state. And the fact that I'm ready now means at any point I could be not ready. And in that direction, it's not considered good form at Toastmasters to apologize, but I'm not going to apologize, but I will make this statement up front. I have not had the opportunity to put together the smooth presentation that I wanted to give tonight, that I planned to give tonight. Can't do it. I thought about canceling. I didn't want to do that either. So you're just going to get a demonstration. This is not indicative of the presentation that I would like to do, but you're going to get something that I think is kind of cool. We'll see how it goes. Let's get started. First of all, let's get rid of the extra little goodies. Now, I'm just talking to you, just like I normally would, me talking to the camera, big deal. However, let's do something a little bit different. Let's do this. I'm now talking to you from, obviously, make sure it's working, talking to you from a different camera. No particular great shakes. Having a two-camera shoot is not the point of the presentation. It was necessary for what I want to show you tonight. So let me go back to my one-camera presentation, first camera, and let me show you the camera that I was using. There we go. Here is the camera, the second camera that I was using. It's a smartphone. Not my smartphone. This is my smartphone. This is the one that I use to make phone calls and that sort of thing. This is an old smartphone that I had from several years ago that was lying around. It wasn't doing anything, but the camera still worked. For that matter, the camera is probably better than the camera that I'm using as a webcam. So I was using the camera in my smartphone as a camera to go into Zoom, to go into my computer. However, it's something else that's kind of cool. That's nothing new, especially. You've always been able to connect your smartphone to your computer by a USB cord and just the appropriate driver software. But notice here, no wires. This is all done wirelessly. It's connected to the computer by Wi-Fi. Now that has some interesting possibilities to it. Let me go back to this one. Now I'm using the other webcam. Hi. Okay, here I am. But now I can move it around. I can show you, if I can maneuver this right. There it is. There's the normal webcam that I use sitting on top of my computer. There's my computer screen. I can move it around if I wanted to. I could show you my office, show you the different things of my office. The cool part is, again, because there are no wires, I could stand up, take it into another room. I could even go outside. And as long as I can reach Wi-Fi connections, I can carry my camera with me, which kind of opens up all kinds of fascinating possibilities if you're doing training, because you can actually show people what it is that you're doing rather than having to put pictures on the screen and that sort of thing. You can actually show them in real life, in real time, what's going on. Now, that's basically it. Let me go back to where I was, because I'm done with that. Again, this is all I was using before. How is this done? It's done by a piece of software called Camo, C-A-M-O. You can find Camo at, let's see. There we go. There's the URL, reincubate.com/camo, but you don't have to remember that. If you just search for C-A-M-O, it will come up. This will be the thing that you'll need. All you need to do is install basically two pieces of software. You need to install Camo, C-M-O, off of the, there it is, off of the App Store or the Play Store on your phone. And you install the Camo Studio off of the website, which is what you're looking at right now. If you install those two pieces of software, one of them will generate a QR code. You scan the QR code with your phone, and that links the two of them together through Wi-Fi. Voila, you're there. It's about as simple a process as you could be. And basically, this is what you get. You get the ability to use your smartphone either as an additional webcam or as a replacement webcam. It's up to you how you want to use it. Oh, cost. That's the other thing. This cost, they have a costly package. It's not very costly, actually. It's not much money at all, but they also offer a free version, and everything that I've shown you tonight is the free version. I haven't bought the upgraded package yet. I'm not sure that I'm going to, but the free version is pretty darned remarkable. Everything that I was doing tonight, that I showed you tonight, is done with the free version of Camo. As I say, simply download Camo into your phone, download the Camo Studio to your computer, link the two together, and you've got a second webcam. And that is my tech tip for tonight, and it actually worked. So I'm going to rest on my laurels. Back to you, Mr. Toastmaster.
All right. Thank you, Jim. Too bad we can't remunerate him for that. So if you could stop your screen share, there we go. Let's move on with our meeting. Now, our timer has already gotten a workout. She saw that this was supposed to be a 2 to 3 minute presentation, so thank you for timing this timer. I should also inform you, if you didn't see it, that Christine asked for extra time for her speech. That one will be 9 to 12 minutes. That said, Rosina, can you tell us about your duties as timer?
Sure thing. Thank you so much, David. So I am the timer for this evening, and my job is to help the participants keep track of time. And I will do that with my handy dandy background colors. So for example, as the speaker earlier spoke for 3 to 5 minutes, I did green at 3 minutes, yellow at 4 minutes, and red at 5 minutes. And so based on your time presentation, I will adjust the timing lights accordingly. So take note about the timing lights. It'll be helpful to pin me or be able to just note where I am so that you can keep a track of the time. Back to you, David.
All right, terrific. And if you have the little Zoom squares off to the side, Rosina should be in the first square. So we try to lock her in so that you don't lose track of her. So with that, well, something's gotten rearranged here. Hold on. Trying to play Hollywood squares here. Okay. So one functionary introduced. Our timer, thank you, Rosina. Our counter for this evening, who was drafted at the last minute for this duty, so thank you for putting up with this, Teru, is Teru Marinama. Teru, can you tell us what the counter does?
Thank you very much. I will serve as our counter today. My job is to monitor the filler words or clutch words and report it in the general evaluation session. And I was advised about not to say filler words oftentimes. Is that when you don't come up with the right word or expressions, you try to keep silence just for a while so that you don't say any filler words. And that is one of my advice, and I think it's usable one. Thank you.
Terrific. Our grammarian this evening will be Dr. Andrew Byrne. Andy.
Thank you very much, David. The role of the grammarian is to actively listen to everything that everybody's saying, to see if anybody uses as part of their speaking time the word of the day. And today the word of the day is reconspect. Let me just see here. And recompense. Thank you. I had something go over my other screen. Recompense. And that way we'll document that and give it a report later on. I'll also share other kinds of speech that requires merit. Call your attention to. Thank you very much.
Terrific. Our watcher this evening, we've already heard a little bit from Jim Barber.
Hi, everybody. The watcher is basically a visual grammarian. I will keep a watch on everyone's visual presence. I will be noting if any particular problems that anybody has, and also making a note of any exceptional uses of the visual frame. Fortunately, in online presenters, we are all such pros that there's really very little for the watcher to do. I'll simply be sitting back and admiring the great visual presence that everybody has. Mr. Toastmaster.
All right, thank you, Jim. And finally, because he took two roles, we have Graham Cairns as both chat monitor and vote counter. Can you explain those two functions for us?
Certainly, Mr. Toastmaster. The chat master is somebody who keeps an eye on the chat. Basically, if there's a question that you need answered, put it into the chat and I will make sure that it is drawn to the attention of the person who needs to answer it. If you wish to make observations about presentations, please feel free to use the chat window. But as a word of caution, be nice. Don't post inappropriate or irrelevant remarks while somebody is in the middle of doing a presentation, because it can be a little distracting. So I'll be keeping an eye on the chat. I'll also, as I say, be drawing it to the attention of the Toastmaster, for example, if required. My other role is as vote master. When we have best speaker, best evaluator, best table topic, and hopefully there will be all three available tonight, I will put a link into the chat where you can vote for the best speaker, the best table topic, and the best evaluator, and then that will be announced at the end of the meeting. Mr. Toastmaster, it's all yours.
All right, thank you, sir. Well, we pretty much got the preliminaries out of the way, which means we can get going. Our first speaker for the evening, let's see, actually, I think I'm usually supposed to ask the timer to give the timing requirements. We talked about them a little bit, but just for the sake of, I think we may have at least one guest with us here tonight. Could you explain the timing for the formal speeches, Rosina?
Certainly. So for speaker number one, who will be speaking for a time of 10 to 12 minutes. At the 10-minute mark, the green light will come on. 11 minutes, yellow, and 12 minutes, the red. For our speaker speaking for 5 to 7 minutes, 5 minutes, will be the green, 6 minutes will be the yellow, and at 7 minutes, it'll be red. And stay on until the speaker is done speaking. Back to you, David.
All right, terrific. So speaker number one from this evening is the fabulous Christine Campbell. The speech for this evening is Time Management, Tips and Tricks Exposed. Leadership Development Level 2, Learning Your Style, Managing Time. Now, Christine is an author, a motivational speaker, a columnist, a podcaster, an activator. You're gonna have to explain to me what an activator is, and an entrepreneur. Her personal quote, set yourself free, live in the present, dream for the future, and experience the magic of new beginnings. Something we heard a little bit about last week. Christine Campbell has 40 plus years in marketing, promotions, and public relations, and believes that giving back is the best way to gain. She hosts a nightly podcast Monday through Friday called 9 at Night, held at 9 p.m. EST, and dedicated to Toastmasters and inviting others to speak. You can join at www.9atnight.com. Christine loves Toastmasters, is a member of 8 clubs, and area director B24 in District 47. I have to tell you, is on the other side of the country from where she lives, and is proud to be a member of the Online Presenters Club. Christine authored a book in January 2022 titled Newbie 101, Network Marketing from the Inside Out. It's sold on Amazon, which is 80% about self-development, she says. Based in Idaho, she's currently the reigning Ms. Senior Idaho, USA, 2023. She's married to her husband. She married her husband on 2011. They live in Rigby, Idaho, and have a combined family of 8 kids, 16 grandchildren, and 1 great-grandchild, live on a small goat farm, and are members of a successful gold and silver company. With all that as a warm-up, I give you Christine Campbell.
Excellent. Welcome, everybody. I am absolutely excited to be here. My topic today is definitely something I think we all need to dive into. Now, you've heard so many different ways of time management, but I'm going to show you today that there is something you may not have heard of, something that absolutely works. And you're going, okay, let's watch it. What we're going to do is just get right into it. This presentation is going to first ask you quite a bit of questions because it's important that you take this literally and personally so that you can learn from it. So what we're going to learn is a proven method that does work, why you need time management. It depends. You may not need it. You may just want to float through life, and that's totally fine. And what you are going to do and accomplishments. So I'm going to ask you some questions. Is it used as a crutch, your excuses to not have time, why you were late, why you quit a project when you start it, you're excited, everybody's counting on you, and then you say, oh, I can't do it. That's a crutch. A lot of people use this. I've used it, and it is something where that's a lack of time management. What about for hobbies? Are you so focused on work or so focused on a project that you don't think about yourself? Time for exercise, time for family, time for reading. These are things that really need to take and consider so you have a well balance for you. I mean, that's important. We want you healthy in all aspects. What about your bucket list? Do you have one? Do you have, I mean, I have 153 things I want to do by the time I'm 105. And it is definitely something I'm definitely going to do. So I have to keep myself healthy, but we have to have something to start with. What's the number one item? Do you even have a vision board? Now, my whole wall in my office where I'm at is filled with vision board material. It was so much fun to Google online and to think of my dreams, get the pretty pictures, print them off and tape them up and have a deadline and a goal of when I want to accomplish each one. This is available to everybody. It takes time management. What if you were gifted more time? You're going, what? Would you use that wisely if this program I'm going to show you makes sense of how you can get more time in the day? Or would you just let it slip away and nothing changes? It's you inside that needs to make those choices. What do you want? And how are you with change? Are you the expert that where you jump at a chance? Or do you first sit back and say, I want to see how they do it first? That's okay. Or are you where I'm not budging? No way. I like me just the way I am and what I do. So what do you want more time for? Okay, this is the big deal. Do you want to learn something new? Or do you want to spend time with family? How about just to watch more TV and maybe more TV? I mean, that's okay. Everybody has what they've wanted to do in life. This may be it. But what about fun? How about more time for the holidays? Join a bowling or a golf club or something else that could be fun to you and maybe others wouldn't understand. I like my little farm animals. Those are fun. It's fun to know that we're self-sufficient on our land for meals throughout the year and our animals are taken care of very, very well. Hot heat lamps in the wintertime, plus a lot of other benefits that they have. It just all is what you think is fun. If you had more time, what could you do in Toastmasters? How about practice to become a paid speaker? Many people go to Toastmasters just to be a speaker. What about become a recruiter for your own club or volunteer for an officer position? Take it to that level or work on your own pathways. What's a pathway? Some people really don't know, but there's so much to explore. So are you ready for this solution? I hope I have you curious because this works and you actually have more time to do the things that you truly want and still keep your regular workload. So I feel like a drum roll is in here ready, but I'm going to tell you about Zippy Time. Okay. And Zippy Time is something that I've created when I was in college many, many years ago. And I'm showing you my program that I have hidden for those only who have read my book. They have this link to my website. So I'm showing it to you and you have that available. Zippy Time has worksheets where you can get more time done in the day. And I'm going to show you the mathematics behind this. I have this link download when you go to Zippy Time, and I will post the link in the chat where we go. And give me a thumbs up if you can see the schedule. Okay, perfect. What I've done is I've created my whole day into 15-minute segments. You turn a 24-hour day into 96 segments. Whoa, let me tell you about that. It absolutely works with your mindset. If you're used to going to bed 6 hours thinking you didn't get a full hours, are you kidding? That's a lot of Zippy Times. It's 32 hours just to have 8 hours and it's only 24. That's a lot. So it makes me feel like I have a lot of sleep. However, what about if you want to vacuum and clean the house and you have a half hour for vacuuming and it actually takes 3 minutes. So you write down a half hour normal time scale and you're looking at your social media, you're going to get a drink, something else, and you vacuum your 3 minutes and call it your half hours marked off. But if you take it within 15 minutes, you got that knocked out and you have 45 minutes left in that hour to do something different. So what this is like a daytime planner. And I'm going to show you a schedule with this. This is one day. You print this off And then on the other side, you print this off. And this is just to open it up. And on each side, you have your daytime planner. So let's hear it out. For 8 hours sleep, that's 32 zippets. For 8 hour day, that's 32 zippets. I mean, there is so much time to do in the day that you have time for personal time, 4 zippets. You can do that. You can fit, and guess what? You can put these personal times 15 minutes throughout the day. Read a book, 15 minutes in the morning. Sing a song, practice your vocals, whatever, 15 minutes in the shower. And I've learned to take my shower in 15 minutes instead of wasting all the hot water and going on and on. I've learned to zip it in and zip it out and get more done. I've learned to eat my meals very slowly, so I'm not rushing, but I can eat my meals in the full day in 6 zippets because I've timed it all out, and it works. It absolutely works. Now, let me share with you why I know this works is because when I was in college, I had a schedule, and this is, gosh, several decades ago, but I had a schedule where I wanted to get up at 3 in the morning so I could read in the Bible, and then I'd run my course, 2-mile course, and then I had diving lessons at 6 in the morning at the college because I wanted to look good in the single place where I lived going off the diving board into the social pool. And so I did that too. And then I had my workload, a full-time schedule. My credits in college were all from 8 a.m. to noon. Then I worked my 8-hour job from 1 p.m. till 9 p.m. at night. And I was assistant manager of a men's shoe store. How cool is that when you're single on a college area? You meet a lot of nice guys, especially the football players. It's really cool. However, we were top sales all the time. I had down times where I could do my homework. As soon as I got home at 9, I could go to bed and I had 6 hours sleep, which in my time frame is 24 zippets. That gets your mind so I can get up at 3 again. It worked. It absolutely worked. So to kind of sum this up a bit, I want to share with you, and this printed thing here, you can just get that off, but you can create whatever you want, have whatever you want. Here's my zippet time I used to have, and I still do follow that. But what's important is that you do something for you. It's time that you have your new time schedule where it quadruples ×4 your time. Here is the link. You can copy this, screenshot, supersonic, zip it. So what is important is that let's talk about your speeches. We're just going all the way around and get back on focus here. We're in Toastmasters group, right? There is a platform on stage every Monday night to be seen and heard. And it is absolutely something that all of you that want to be a paid speaker to get on here and practice, and that's 9atnight.com, and it's 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Sean Walker is my co-host. And are you ready to be a speaker? It's time to make the time to start practicing. What I'm going to do is showing you how you can change the world one speech at a time, one person at a time. And I'm going to end with this little intro with our 9 at Night. Thank you, and back to you.
Who was I lecturing you earlier about having your microphone muted while you're trying to talk? But thank you, Christine. Our second speaker for the evening is Andriy Smolenko. And what we're going to be hearing from him is, I know how you are going to live your life. From engaging humor, level 1. This is his icebreaker. In his icebreaker speak, Andriy Smolenko is going to share with you some fascinating findings from his life. Andriy.
How am I going to live my life? Have you ever asked yourself that question? I have, on a number of occasions. You see, I turned 43 this year, but a few years ago, when I turned 40, that question was a really, really big one. And I spent sleepless nights, and I went to see many people, read tons of books, and then the question, how am I going to live my life now, was bothering me on and on. Luckily, my fellow Toastmasters, I found the solution. I found the answer to that amazing question. And most importantly, I'm going to share the answer with you tonight. On my quest to find the right people, I started with, of course, what would I do with my parents, with my mom and dad? They both live in Ukraine. They are Ukrainians. I'm Ukrainian as well. I live in Manchester, England. They live in Kiev, Ukraine. They've been married for 44 years. So they were the right people to talk to. Well, I asked my dad a simple question. And my dad said, son, I know the answer to your big, massive question. What you need to do is to find a woman in your life. The woman who would care about you, love you, and cook for you nice Ukrainian food. Well, my dad really knew me well. Well, the thing is, I've been divorced for a number of years now, and I'm a single dad, a full-time single dad. And since my children's mom decided to set up her life, hopefully a better life for her in Italy. So I've been taking care of my two beautiful children. You can see them here on the photo. My son Martin is 10 and my daughter Sophia is 15. So my dad knew exactly what to suggest me. Well, when I talked to my teenage daughter about that big, massive question, how am I supposed to live my life? It didn't work out. We just end up in all that brawl, that daughter. And then I just had enough. Said, look, Sophia, so how come that I get all the grief in the world? And I bet nobody else gets any grief from you. And she said, that is simple. You know, of course, I'm not stupid. You are my dad. So why would I give any grief to any other parent? That was an eye-opening for me. And I realized, right, probably my daughter and son are not ideal people who could answer it. Well, then I went to my business partners. I've been running insolvency practice, helping businesses, normally small to medium businesses, to go through bankruptcy for a number of years. And I ask them the question. And of course they say, Andriy, are you mad? Man, insolvency is a bloodline of the economy. We're living in the time of change. So why don't you just lay back and enjoy this time of your life? Well, what else could I expect from my business partners? Then I went to my friends, of course, with the same massive question. And the few answers I get, just read that. Well, at least you are not completely bald, mate. You will get through this. Don't worry. And another friend of mine came up with even a better one, much more sophisticated. I don't know why you're asking this stupid question, but don't worry, you will figure it out before you kick the bucket. Well, on my quest, fellow Toastmasters, I've tried my parents, I've tried my children, I've tried my business colleagues, I even tried the important people, my friends. And then once, speaking with a friend that I haven't seen for ages, who moved far, far away, who turned 40 a few years before me, asked the same question. So how are you going to live your life after that? And he answered, simple, with humor. My fellow Toastmasters, if you ever stuck in your life and you have to answer that big, massive question, how you are going to live your life, I want you to remember just one answer, with humor. Back to you, Toastmaster of the evening.
I'm doing it again. Wonderful. May we ask our timer for a timer's report, please?
Thank you so much, David. So our two speakers are both within time. Toastmaster Campbell spoke for 12 minutes and 13 seconds, and Andriy Smolenko spoke for 5 minutes and 54 seconds. Both within time.
All right, terrific. Well, now we come to the part of the meeting where you have to wake up. If you've been on autopilot, if you've just been sitting back, relaxing, thinking that you were going to get through this meeting without speaking, well, I've got a news for you. We have our table topics master, Kim Learning, who's going to put you, Kim Leeming, I'm sorry, who is going to put you through your paces this evening. Kim.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the Day, David Carr. And this impromptu thing is just not just for you guys, but for me too, because I didn't know I was Toastmaster or Table Topics Master of the Day until just now. So my name is Kim Leeming, and I am honored to present tonight's table topics. As David mentioned, this is the impromptu or off-the-cuff part of the meeting. Tonight's theme of the day is giving thanks, and the word of the day is recompense. Are you ready for a fun round of table topics? I hope so. You'll each have 1 to 2 minutes to answer. Please keep in mind that tonight's word of the day, again, is recompense. Thanksgiving is one of my favorite times of the year. It is a combination of many things we all love in our lives: family, great food, drinks, and football. Thanksgiving provides the opportunity to reconnect with our loved ones and reflect on what we all have to be grateful. The first table topics question is the most obvious one. What are you most grateful for this year? Toastmaster Deborah Carr.
I'm having a little bit of trouble here with my computer, so let me, because I was trying to click on the voting
Would you
thing.
like the question one more time?
No, I got it. It's just I was having trouble with my computer. So what am I thankful for this year? The most important thing, fellow Toastmasters, is it's almost done. It's been a crazy year. However, it's been one of the better of the crazy years in this 7 or 8 year stretch that I've been in. And that and today is the 7th 7th week anniversary of a new hip that I had put in, and I have not taken one aspirin since I left the hospital. So overall, pain-free. The year is almost done. Everybody is healthy, and we made it through the snowstorm before Thanksgiving, which is usually when Michigan gets nailed. So there's a lot of things that I'm always thankful for. Most importantly, that everything is falling finally for me into place. Back to you, Miss Kim.
Thank you, Deborah. I actually loved your answer. Next table topics question is, if you were to make a wish with the Thanksgiving turkey, like wishbone, what would your wish be? Toastmaster Lou Brown.
Madam Topics Master, boy, whenever you get a question like, what would you wish for? Oh, what doesn't flow through our minds? Money, power, fame, fortune, friends, to be the #1 speaker in the world, to travel all over the world. I mean, boy, I could just go on and on and on about the sorts of things that I know I've wished for over many years of my life. However, I will say, as I get up there in age, and for our second speaker, Mr. Andriy, I am several years past your most recent age experience that you shared with us. So it's it gets even more humorous as you get to where I'm at right now. So keep that in mind. I feel that just continuing to wish, or I should say wishing on a daily basis, or just knowing and praying and thinking that, wow, I'm so happy to just be here. I am happy that I have another day, that I can continue to share with the world my message, who I am, how I'd like to help people, etc. You know, when we're younger, I think most people follow traditional paths in life, which consist of going to school, going to college, getting a degree, getting a job. Back in my day, was you worked at that job your whole life, then you retired, and then you lived a couple of years more before you passed out. But it was very strict and a very narrow path, for lack of a better way to put it. And I think at this point, it's really about, you know what, let me just bring some more diversity to life. Let me add a few new things here and there to kind of spice things up and not regret later on in life some of the things that I would have liked to have done. So I kind of added a few different messages in there, but it's really, for me, as I get up there, I thank my wish, I guess, is to be able to see another day, and to also have the capacity to bring new things to my life and to other people's lives, so that all of our lives can be better. Back to you.
Thank you, Lou. As someone who's also getting up there in those years, totally relate. So moving on to the next table topic question, what is your most favorite Thanksgiving dish? Toastmaster Isabel Kaduri.
Excuse me, could you please repeat your question?
Absolutely. What is your most favorite Thanksgiving dish to serve?
Thank you, Toastmaster Kim. What comes to my mind when you talk about Thanksgiving dinner food is two things. One is a big turkey, and the other is a roasted lamb. And between two typical Thanksgiving food, and my favorite is the lamb. To many people that I know, we always have a question: why would people love turkey? It's a bird, doesn't taste that good. It's so dry. Maybe we just haven't had a chance to have really deliciously cooked turkey. We eat turkey just because we know it's a tradition, but lamb is definitely a better choice. And I happen to know some American family members, they also opt for lamb instead of turkey during the Thanksgiving. And for a couple of times I was invited, and I thoroughly enjoyed the lamb as the Thanksgiving meal. Back to you, Toastmaster team.
Thank you, Isabel. So you probably don't know this about me, but I'm actually 25% Armenian, and I love lamb. Never thought about it for Thanksgiving though. For the next question, we have, which celebrity would you most like to invite to join you for Thanksgiving dinner? Toastmaster Graham Carnes.
Madam Topics Master, fellow Toastmasters, it's difficult to answer this question because we don't celebrate Thanksgiving in the sense that North Americans celebrate Thanksgiving, but we do have other events where we get together. We have Christmas, for example, although for us, Christmas is normally cold ham, cold chicken, prawns and cold seafood with salad, none of this hot food at Christmas, because of course it's the middle of the summer for us. We also have celebrations at Australia Day, which is on the 26th of January, again at the end of our summer. That's where we tend to eat the lamb. In fact, there is a celebrity who promotes the sale of lamb in Australia. He's a comedian by the name of Sam Kekovich, and he plays the ultimate Australian. He's an educated, but down at home, he just plays the sort of Australian that most of us would really like to be, Sam Kekovich, and he takes absolutely no prisoners. Would I want to have him as a guest at one of my events? Well, I'm not entirely sure, because I have to say, one of the things about family events like Thanksgiving that I have been to once in the US, like Christmas and Australia Day, as the day goes on, filters seem to be dropped and people tend to get more and more vociferous about their points of view, particularly their points of view that relate to sex, religion, and most importantly, politics. Now, having been to a few events where it's been better to walk away than to continue to engage with those with whom I disagree, I'm not entirely sure that bringing along a forthright Aussie like Sam Kekovich, or in fact any celebrity like that, would be a particularly good idea at our equivalent of Thanksgiving. Adam Topics Master.
Thank you, Graham. On to the next table topic. If you could have one unconventional food on the Thanksgiving dinner menu, what would it be? Toastmaster Joni Laylaw.
In Jamaica, we don't actually have Thanksgiving, but because we have such a cross culture of persons who spend quite a lot of time there, it actually did translate here. The difference is we don't do turkey, we do chicken. A chicken works. The stuffing is better when stuffed in chicken. The stuffing is also different here because we have callaloo. Now, for those who don't know callaloo, I do believe that you call it collard greens there, but we use it as a stuffing and not just as a side. Candied yams as well. Sweet potato is not done in the way you do it. No, we make a pudding, and a mean sweet potato pudding. What is unconventional? I saw on TikTok where someone did a friend's Thanksgiving where persons brought things from their culture, and they brought stew chicken. And all I could think was, where's rice and peas? You cannot have dinner in any way, shape, or form, no matter what it is, without rice and peas. It is the ultimate side dish, which makes everything worth it. And except for things that have curry, and for those who don't eat goat, maybe you've curried a lamb. That ultimately goes with everything and makes it that much better. Unconventional on a Thanksgiving plate, some rice and peas, a nice potato pudding instead of candied yams, stuffed with callaloo, or maybe potato and cheese if we're going to be aligned with a more American theme. But overall, our culture infused with yours sometimes takes it up another notch. Back to you, our tabletop master.
Thank you, Joni. I love the idea of unconventional Thanksgiving dinners, and absolutely the best way to go. Next up is another question. If you could have Thanksgiving dinner with anyone, living or dead, who would it be? Toastmaster Rosina Duncanson.
Thank you so much, Madam Table Topics Master. If I can have Thanksgiving with anyone, whether living or dead, I'll say this. And anyone who knows me knows I just love Hallmark movies. For me, a good Hallmark movie in Thanksgiving time is even more exciting, where some stranger pops into the house is decorated, we start to cook, and they bring all the energy and culture into the home. I think surprises are oftentimes the best adventures. Sure, you can identify somebody and name a name, but you could make a mistake. Wrong person, wrong character, wrong energy. So for me, I would want a surprise Thanksgiving gift. Someone that's coming with great energy and great stories and wanting to eat all of the unconventional foods, because I'm gonna have lamb for Thanksgiving next year. I'm not gonna have a turkey, and I don't like ham. I'm not a big rice and peas fan, but we're sure gonna have some candy yams. We have a whole lot of things spread out for Thanksgiving. But what I did not hear that I love for Thanksgiving is dessert. The most important thing for any holiday is dessert. Dessert is essential to have for any holiday. So if there's no dessert, there's no Thanksgiving. So pack a surprise, pack a stranger, pack adventure, but most importantly, pack dessert. Back to you, Toastmaster of the Day.
Thank you, Rosina. I just love it when the time of the day times themselves. Great job. And David Carr, Toastmaster of the Day. Where are we at? Do we want to do any more table topics, or
I
let
think
me
you
know?
can do at least one more since we only have the 2 evaluations to do.
You got it. So one more would be, next question. What's the best gift you have ever received that you're really grateful for? Toastmaster Toru Murayama.
Okay, let me answer this question by saying that the best gift I've got so far is the one beautiful and wonderful Nikon camera when I was a journalist working in the battlefield with big lens, and it is very workable. I've got it from a company. I had a good relationship with them, and they want me to bring the camera to advertise this this camera, and I did a great job in taking pictures in Baghdad or Syria or Istanbul, all kinds of war field and local battlefield, and I've got award in my company, the best one, in 1971 when I covered Gulf War in Baghdad, and that is, I still have it as my precious thing. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Toru. So I think that concludes our table topics of the day. Unless you want one more, David, let me know. And back to you,
I think
Toastmaster of the Day, David.
it's probably a good place to draw the line. May we have a timers report on the table topics, folks?
Sure thing. Give me 1 second. I'm going to go ahead and drop the names in the chat and go ahead and also read them out loud. I think we had one person that didn't qualify. And so according to my notes, we have Deborah Carr at 52 seconds, Lou Brown 206, Isabel at 109, Graham at 205, Joni at 204, myself at 133, and Toru at 138.
Okay, so Deborah's a little bit short. Nothing personal, Deborah. I don't know how tall you are actually, but a little bit short on time for this evening. I'm thankful to our timer. I'm thankful to our topics master. I'm thankful to everybody who took a role for this evening's meeting. I would be very thankful for people who signed up ahead of time for next week's meeting. So I dropped that link in the chat a moment ago, and we'll pester you a little bit more towards the end if we didn't get to that point. But that said, it's time for me to introduce our general evaluator who will take us through very important evaluation portion of this meeting. Toastmaster Lou Brown.
Thanks, sir. Welcome everybody to the third and final segment of our meeting, the evaluation section. This is where we will hear from our two evaluators who will give immediate feedback to our prepared speakers, as well as hear back from all of our role helpers. And I will say those were two amazing speakers. I had a very, very difficult time voting. So I said, let me vote twice, one for each one. That only seems fair. And I did it. And I realized, wow, it actually took. So David, I'm not sure if that's okay, but I was like, well, wow, if David actually programmed it so that it recognized you already voted already, Toastmaster Brown, so you can't do it again, I would have been even more impressed with your coding skills. But anyway, again, amazing speakers. Now we're going to move on to hear from some, I'm sure, equally amazing evaluators. First up, we have Toastmaster Antoinette Trim, who will be evaluating Toastmaster Christine Campbell's speech. For all those here who are Toastmasters, I see one square that I'm not sure who that person is, if that person's a Toastmaster or not, but evaluations are 2 to 3 minutes. So Madam Timer, get ready with that timing device. Antoinette Trim, please give your evaluation of Toastmaster Campbell.
Make it zippy time, whereby it's divided into 15-minute segments. Good evening, Toastmaster of the day, fellow Toastmasters, and a special good evening to Toastmaster Christine. I liked Christine's introduction, where she mentioned that her time management method was a proven method, and it worked, or it keeps on working. That meant that she apparently developed her own way of doing time management. So it was tested and tried again and again. There were some strengths in Toastmasters' speech, many strengths, but I will just highlight 2. Eye contact. Toastmaster Christine, she looks straight at the camera all of the time, especially when she was not using the slides. And this helped her to engage the audience. Second area is the speech structure, where Christine asks various questions. For example, what about fun? And what would you do in Toastmasters? And to me, those questions personally were to me. And I guess the other questions that were asked, each one of us could have identified with the questions that she asked. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to present 2 gifts to Toastmaster Christine, in my humble opinion. Firstly, the slides were changing rather quickly. As I decided to take a little note of the slide, by the time I raised my hand, it was move on. It was changing very rapidly. I think in between those slides, she could have maybe give it a 5 seconds or so before she moved on to the other slides. Secondly, in terms of her vocal variety, at one point where she used the sentence, make it slip away, that was so, but there's another sentence that she could have used, maybe use her voice very soft and take her time to actually say what she wanted to say. For example, where can I do my homework? Maybe she could have done that just a bit slower. All in all, it was a good speech, And I like the introduction, the body, as well as her conclusion, where she asks a lot of questions. And she also encouraged us to join the podcast. Back to you, Toastmaster of the Day or General Evaluator.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Trim. Excellent evaluation. Moving on to our second evaluator, one of our newer members, Toastmaster Isabel Kadori. I think I pronounced your last name correctly. Evaluating Toastmaster Andriy Smolenko. Take it away, Isabel.
Thank you, Mr. General Evaluator. Fellow Toastmasters, and especially Toastmaster Andriy, I really liked the way you started your icebreaker speech with a big and a massive question. How am I going to live my life? That's definitely a question that was well related to every one of us. Then you drew us into your life to look for the most humorous answer to this massive question. Your speech served its purpose very well as an icebreaker. We learned where you came from, where you live, who are your direct family members, and the humorous relationship you had with your family members, business partners, and your friends. While you took us on a journey with this massive question and bombarded us with many different answers, you introduced yourself and shared many aspects of your life that brought us closer to you. You give your speech a very strong ending, live with humor. I loved your message. The way you delivered this message was impressive and memorable. This is the first speech project in the engaging humorous path. You did a great job to combine humor with a big and massive topic, but I have some difficulties to understand some of your humor. When I saw Toastmaster David and others were laughing as you spoke, I kept thinking what I had missed. As a result, I probably missed out even more of the humor. So perhaps you can take into consideration just simply the ability some of your audience to understand the humors, craft more humorous moments that are easy to digest. So lastly, I really loved how you displayed text during your presentation. That helped me understand some of your messages. I hope you will share your tips about the tools for displaying text as you spoke. In summary, I enjoyed your humor, and I'm glad to have the opportunity to get to know you. And I look forward to your tips and more humorous speeches in the future. Back to you, Mr. General Evaluator.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Kadori. Appreciate that. Madam Timer, please share the times for our two evaluators in the chat. And vote counter, please. I'm actually assuming they met the timing parameters because I didn't see a red. At least I don't believe I saw a red.
They did meet the timing criteria. So I'm going to go ahead and drop it in the chat.
Awesome. Thank you very much. And our vote counter will share the link for folks. Oh, wow, intranet right on 3:26. Please vote for your favorite evaluator. We are rounding the corner. It feels like I just had a couple of drinks or something. Boy, I'm a little off here. We are rounding the corner, home stretch, almost near the end of the meeting. At this point, we kind of go through some of our helper roles, and then I'll give an evaluation of the meeting. That's how a lot of my clubs do it, but I kind of prefer to do it the other way around, is to give my evaluation first, then the reports, because it gives our role helpers a little bit of extra ammo, and also me a chance to use recompense effectively, which I'm not sure if I did it there effectively, but either way, I got the word in. So now I can be marked as saying the word once. Anyway, I have to say, I was so engrossed with the speeches. Our speakers were really amazing. And also the topics, that I didn't have a lot written down as far as areas of our meeting, which may require somewhat of improvement. And quite honestly, we being such an advanced club, is very hard to find things without being a little too nitpicky. I'm in a number of other clubs, basic clubs. I'm sure many of you are as well. And boy, it's hard to actually stick within a minute or two when you're a general evaluator. You have to do it though, of course, because everyone's learning and growing. But our group is so advanced. It's very difficult to do that. Dave, as always, you run a tight ship, kept everything on time, ran through every segment as it should be. I mean, again, we're all so experienced at it. We can dream about this, and it's like second nature. It's hard to actually not mess it up in some ways. And Kim, I always enjoy, whether you're serving as Toastmaster, Topics Master, even general evaluator, you always bring some humor to the table. Your Kim personality, it just shines through, and I always enjoy when you speak. So thank you for running an awesome program there as well. And our evaluators, certainly are seasoned folks. You shared with us what you liked about the speakers, what you would have liked them to have done differently, and you provided examples which make for very effective evaluations. Perhaps some of our role helpers will share a little bit more about things I might have missed in the context of how we can improve our meeting further. Let's go right down the line and hear from them. Roseanne, I know you shared some information in the chat already. I will ask you though, if you have any other information you'd like to share as far as timing goes.
I do not have any additional information. As I mentioned, I was grateful to have most questions with the time criteria. I also enjoyed the presentation on time management. It made me wonder, should we start making our sessions in 50-minute increments? Back to you, Mr. G.
Thank you. See, another opportunity there. I'm also going to save the eye counter role for last, because I think for the same reason, it gives that person a little bit more ammo in case some of our other role helpers will give that tally a boost there. Let's go to our grammarian, our president, Andy Byrne. How did we do with usage of that word recompense? I should get 2 checks now, as well as grammar in general.
Still muted, Andy.
We actually did pretty well, Lou. Thank you for those 2 recompenses. As I looked through the entire meeting, several people used the word recompense. I was surprised. David, of course, used it when he was explaining what the word was. We also had several other people use recompense. But I also wrote down a whole bunch of other fun words that were used during the source of our meeting. One of which I give credit to Christine. Zippy time. What a wonderful, happy, uplifting expression. Zippy time. Then we had insolvency that Andriy used. Lou, as I get up there, referring to his aging process. I recommend that you watch Chris Helmsworth doing a National Geographic special on aging and how you deal with aging. I think that one of the things that we're actually missing, I was looking for, was during Christine Campbell, who has now left us to do her podcast, when she was talking about time management, she left out some words I was looking for. And those words are the Pomodoro technique and time blocking. Those are 2 critical things that are used within the sphere of time management that people should all be familiar with. Let me just see a show of hands. Does everyone know what the Pomodoro technique is? Okay, if you don't know, I put it in the chat. So when the chat monitor looks around, they can see that I put in both time blocking definition as well as the Pomodoro technique. You can do it without making purchases, or Amazon will sell you Pomodoro clocks to allow you to work on that for your time management. There are a few other really notable terms, but I'll leave that for another day because we're running out of time. Back to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. Let's move on to our watcher, Jim Barber.
Thank you, Mr. General Evaluator. Since we've already heard from the grammarian, I won't bother to use the word recompense, because if I'm not going to get credit for it, I'm not going to use it. So there. As far as my watching activities this evening, as I indicated in my introduction, everybody here is a professional, and it showed tonight. Everybody's lighting is effective. You use non-distracting backgrounds. The variety of backgrounds is amazing. Some people use a plain background, other people use a substitute background, and other people use a live background. And that's okay. All of them are fine. It's a matter of having a background that doesn't distract from you. And I think everybody did that very well. Everybody was balanced in the video frame. I say balanced as opposed to centered, because sometimes centering is not the right thing. For example, Kim is not centered in the frame, but she is balanced in the frame because she uses the candle to offset what she's doing. And so she's off to the side, but that's the right way to do it. So everybody was balanced in the video frame. In short, everybody looked terrific. It was a pleasure watching you, Mr. General Evaluator.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. Mr. Graham Cairns, how chatty were we today?
We were moderately not chatty. That's great grammar. English is good. Pity I left it in my other pants. Not a great deal happening in the chat today. We did have links to the software which was mentioned by Jim a little earlier, the Camo software. We also had a link for Prezi, which Andriy tells us is what he uses to bring up the text beside him. There's a little discussion going on of a few other things, particularly as Andy has already mentioned, he put up links to other time management tools and techniques, or at least he put up photos for us to get some ideas. But yeah, not much happening in the chat, but that was good. Meant that we weren't being distracted. In my other role as counter of votes, hence the people behind me voting, please go and vote, go and vote. I need to get the final votes in because we haven't got enough yet. There are lots of people who have not yet voted. Please go and do so.
Good point. Thank you. Yes, go and vote. Maybe I should put the chat monitor up front, and then as we go through the roles, that'll give folks even more time to get their votes in. However, I saw Toastmaster Maruyama taking a lot of notes in regards to the counter role. So this might take a while. We'll see how this goes. Please share with us how we did, Toastmaster Toru.
Thank you very much. Actually, I detected very few filler words or clutch words. But for those very few clutch words, most of them are the ones repeating the same words twice. I think the reason was because people's word came faster than their thoughts. So the cure is to speak either slowly or keep silence for a moment. And in concrete, in table topics, Toastmaster Deborah Carr, repeat ears twice, seventh twice. Toastmaster Louis Brown, repeat I twice. And other speakers in table topics, Isabel Kadri, R 3 times, and maybe me 4 or 5 times, and other table topic speakers, Graham, Rosanna Duncan, and Ledro, Toastmaster, 0. Fine. And in the evaluation session, Antoinette Dream also repeat the word strength twice. And Isabel Cadre, 0. And everybody was very, very fine. And I was amazed the many people's excellent skills. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you very much, sir. Appreciate that. We have a few minutes left, Graham. If we did get some more votes in, which I hope we did, hopefully we have a solid answer now on who won for each segment. Please share.
It's your fault, Mr. Toastmaster, Mr. General Evaluator. You were the one who said that you could not split a vote between Christine and Andriy as in your vote for best speaker, and obviously neither can the club, because there is an equivalent number of votes for both of our speakers tonight, Christine and Andriy. So congratulations to both of you. Yay! But Andriy, since you're here, take it. For table topics, we had a tie for first between Rosanna and Joni, and then I came in at a third place. So congratulations to Rosanna and Joni. And for the votes for evaluator, it is close. It is perilously close. I'm giving 5, 4, 3, 2, no more votes coming in. Congratulations, Isabel, on the best evaluator for today's meeting.
Thank you very much, Mr. Vote Counter. That wraps up the evaluation segment. I will pass it over to our president, because I'm assuming our Toastmaster will, if I pass it to him, he'll say, pass it to our president. And if I'm wrong, let me know, David.
Well,
Mr.
at
President.
some point I want to ask about roles for next week, but Andy, do you want to say a few words to wrap up?
Yeah. Is Jinli a guest visiting? Jinli, do you have a camera?
Yes, I'm a guest.
Okay. Can you tell us what your impressions were of our meeting?
I
Where are
think
you from?
it's. Hi, I'm originally from China. This is my first time to attending this club. It's been super interesting. I love everyone's speech. It's quite impressive.
And what are your thoughts?
Are you
everyone-
joining us from China? Or,
Yes.
or are you in the US or in China or where?
Oh, I'm in Florida.
Oh, okay. All right. One of the few of us.
Well, we appreciate. How did you find out about the club?
I found it online, just Toastmaster, the official website, and this is one of the advanced club. So I think that's interesting. I'd like to check it out. And
Well, you're welcome to come multiple times, and we're anxious to learn more about you and your gifts and what you can contribute to the club. And we look forward to seeing you next week.
yeah, okay. I will reach out to Kim to ask more information, I think.
We'll be happy to send you that as well. And I think our officers in education and others have taken notes, and they'll be happy to send it to you. David, we have her from her registration, correct? She doesn't need to put her name and email in the chat.
I believe Kim has her information, right?
Okay, Kim has the information, so she'll be in touch with you.
All right.
I believe that the only thing presidential I want to share is that even though we are an undistricted club, we still recommend that all the officers go to officer training somewhere. We posted where officer training is available in District 47, 48, and other locations, but we recommend that not only all the officers go to an officer training that we get credit for, but also every member go choose the role that you'd like to participate in, that you might see yourself doing one day, and go to that training session. You will learn a lot, and it will help the club out. Now back to you, David.
Right. Yeah, this is the time that I do the press gang part of the meeting. Grab people off the docks and put them in roles on the ship. I do want to give a thank you to Isabel, who was a little bit reluctant. She had to have her arm twisted to be an evaluator, and I thought she did a good job, including sharing the perspective that sometimes we assume things from, I was going to say from our US perspective, but Andriy's not giving a US perspective. But we do have to remember that we're talking to a multinational audience, and sometimes we might need to clarify a few things, but you have to, everybody has to stretch in different directions. For next week's meeting, I will not be here, so I am no help, but we do have 3 speakers signed up, which is wonderful, and an evaluator. and a general evaluator. We're in pretty good shape, but we need a Toastmaster of the day. Who can be Toastmaster of the day for next week? Looking at Rosina, would you be available for that? Or no, you're down as a speaker, pardon me.
Yep, I'm speaking next week.
Well, Kim, I'm inclined to pick on you again. Are you available to be Toastmaster of the day next week?
Sure. Yeah, we have family, they're gonna be there, but leaving before the Toastmaster meeting, sure.
Okay. All right, thank you, Kim.
Thank you.
Do we have any others who do not yet have a role able to step up to be evaluators for next week? And Isabel, you just did it, but actually, Isabel, you could be topics master next week, and you could make other people squirm and try and come up with answers to your questions. Would you like to try that?
That's a very challenging task. Well, I run a youth club, so I'm used to give very easy questions. If you not picky with, what kind of question I may toss on upon you.
Well, it's up to you to decide how mean to be. I'm telling you to go ahead and be mean, but
I love easy questions. So.
you can be nice. It's not against the rules. It's not actually against the rules.
I think you'd be great, Isabel. I would love to see you do that. And honestly, whatever you do, because I tripped up a bunch of our very seasoned members last week and felt very bad about it. And honestly, whatever you do is perfect and fun.
All right. Well, I typically, and as you see, my style is very simple. I probably wouldn't start with very humorous story. I would just directly get into and give you probably very plain, simple questions.
Okay.
That's great.
All
That's
right.
perfect.
Blue Brown, could
I
you
need
be
to
a-
kind of go back toward that because I stumped so many people last week. I think that's perfect.
Lou Brown, will you be here next week? Can you take a role?
I may not, so I'm gonna reserve for the last minute in case I am able to make it.
Okay. Very good. I think just about everybody here already has her role as far as I can see, except for Andy, can I put you down as an evaluator?
Sure.
Okay, we'll put you down as an evaluator and we'll be in fairly good shape. And I won't be here, so it won't be my problem if the roles are not filled. But Kim, as Toastmaster of the day, you can take on some of that responsibility, maybe trying to hustle together some people here. Like Christine, for example, is not here. Some people had to leave early, but I'm sure would be willing to help out if they're available. So thank you all for allowing me to lead this meeting.
Andre had a
Yes,
question.
I have a quick announcement to make. Probably most of us already know that Online Presenters has got presence online obviously, and on Facebook in particular. On Facebook, we try to update our page on a regular basis, and most of the meetings we post there. So by the way, if you click on the link in the chat, it will take you to the Facebook page, and I already put a few photos with us from this meeting. So please share on your profiles. It's really important that the rest of the world will enjoy the power of Online Presenters. So please do it right now and free to do so all the time.
And yeah, it makes all the difference if you share it with a personal note saying why you find this club engaging and valuable, and come up with every positive adjective you can, please. But
I want to ask one really fast question just as we close out. Who would be uncomfortable, because Zoom allows us to broadcast live while we're doing it to Facebook and other sites as well. Who would be uncomfortable to go live during our meeting and make it live for our Facebook audience or other audiences that we plug in? Do you feel uncomfortable with that and want the benefit of having Dave tape it and then let you know, oh my God, it's so bad, David, cut that out? as opposed to Jonah doesn't want to be taped live. Okay, any others that don't want to be taped live?
I remember what happened last week.
I have a comment though, Andy, and I know we're still recording, but my only comment is I'm always excited to have persons in the room who can